Welcome to the Harvesting Wisdom podcast. Together we explore the vast landscapes of life, delving into the rich soil of experiences, sowing the seeds of curiosity, and harvesting the profound wisdom that each episode unfolds. Welcome to another episode of Harvesting Wisdom podcast. I'm your host, Mike McMahon. I am in, this isn't Barsac, this is Graves. What
We are
appellation?
in Blaye Côtes de Bordeaux.
Okay,
It's the name of the appellation.
okay. And I am here with Jessica Aubert.
Yeah.
Is that right? Pretty
That's
close?
pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate you being here today. And appreciate you speaking in English.
You're welcome.
40 years ago, I spoke French, but then I moved to Arizona and now I speak Spanish.
Oh, okay. I see.
We don't have a lot of French people there, so it's hard to practice it. But we are at Château Nodot, which is a family winery, a family estate, about 8 hectares, that you have had in the family for over 200 years.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Quite a tradition. Think of all the things that have happened in 200 years. You've had World War I, World War II, you've had COVID, you've had organic farming to begin with, and you had chemicals that everybody in the world went to. So it's been quite a transition. You've had different grapes on the property, different varieties, but now it's Semillon mostly, if not all.
It's Sauvignon, white Sauvignon.
Oh, you do Sauvignon as well,
yes,
okay.
Yes, we have 2 hectares of white Sauvignon, and then it's Merlot and Cabernet Sauvignon, which are really the most well-spread grapes in Bordeaux area.
Okay, are you also doing Semillon or no?
No.
You don't?
No, we prefer Sauvignon because it's more tasty.
Okay. So it's a drinking wine then. So it's a drier, light wine, not the sweet wine, a Sauterne or anything.
Yes, we produce dry white wines, and we also produce different types of reds and rosé.
And you'll merge the Merlot and the Cabernet.
Yes.
Do you have a Cabernet Franc too?
No, Cabernet Sauvignon only.
Okay.
It is, the taste is more rounder.
Right.
So yes, we prefer.
So you have the 3 of it. So you've been. When did I think you and I were just talking? Your parents started going into biodynamic farming at some point, some organic farming. They made the switch.
Yeah, in fact, my parents were organic farming because they were doctors, so they didn't want to use any chemicals. And when I come here, I come back and when he said, because previously I did another job, I want to go furthermore, and I chose a biodynamic way of growing, and it was 16 years ago.
So you started the biodynamic,
yes.
But your parents had started some organic too because of their profession as doctors. They realized that the chemicals were only going to harm people and harm the land as well.
Yes, exactly.
And then you took over with, okay, so what was your previous career? You left, like anyone, you're young and you want to try something different. Yes. So what else did you do before this?
I was working in banking and financial management.
So you learned business,
yes.
Which helps with the skill set to do this. And your parents, are they still doctors? They still work with you on the vineyard. Are they still doctors?
No, they are retired and they're no more doctors, but they still help me in the wine estate. Yes.
So in the wine industry, you've got months with dormant. The wines aren't, the grapes have defoliated and they're dormant. Do you still do cover crops, and do you still do anything? Sometimes you might get snow, rain. So during the off months, what do you focus on? Do you focus on marketing and selling? Because you're busy all year long with this, right?
Yes, yes. Wine growing needs work on all over the year, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
But also I have to do the selling part of the wine. That is in fact now more and more difficult than the growing part.
Yeah.
Even if we have some difficulties with the change of the climate.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to share my time between the lands and the marketing and the selling and so on.
Right. Now, I noticed everywhere I've gone, I went to Kentucky where they make whiskey. I've got friends in Napa who have vineyards.
Mhm.
Notice less people drinking,
Yes.
especially the youngest generation, this generation Z or Y, whatever they are, don't appear to be drinking as much. Do you notice a slowdown in demand at all yourself?
Yes, yes. In France, the consumption of the wine is really decreasing
Right.
a lot, and now it's quite difficult for winemakers to sell the wine. In Bordeaux, we have big crisis. In fact, a surproduction, an overproduction crisis,
Uh-huh.
and so we also have impact, even if we produce something that is quite different, because people drink less wine. Yes.
Now, do you have a wine club at Château Nodot? Nodot?
No, no,
You don't have a wine club yet?
no.
Okay. Do you ship?
Yes, it can be possible, but the shipping costs are quite high.
Right.
So, in fact, for example, for shipping to the USA, it's more. The shipping cost is more expensive than the bottle cost.
Yeah, sometimes. I still ship because the wine here in France is, to me, it's the old world wines. I can't get those back in the US, so I still do shipping for myself. I did it in, let's see, I was in Burgundy last at Latour and at Château Drouin, and then I went into the store there and I shipped a whole bunch of wine back. But so I think it's possible, and we'll put your website on this too for anybody who's got an interest. But it's a beautiful area here. Technically, this would be considered right bank. Not exactly the right bank, but it's still the right side of the Gardot. And is this the Ciron river right here? So it's a branch of the Garonne.
Yes, and we are with the estuary. We are really near the estuary of the Gironde, and this has an influence on the climate.
Oh yeah. So probably more water management that you have to do, more humidity.
Yes.
And because it's on this side, I don't know how much gravel you have here. So it's mostly limestone and
it's
and clay, right?
Yes, limestone and clay.
So again, different water management. You've started doing the biodynamics farming 16 years ago, and it's a process, right? How long did it take you to completely shift over? And because this same plot had chemicals on it before, how long do you think it took for that to remediate or repair itself?
I was very lucky because my parents never used chemicals.
Oh, they didn't.
Yeah,
okay, that's
so
right.
the soil were not poisoned. But I really see the difference after 3 or 4 years
of biodynamic.
Yes, right. The soil become darker and with more organic, and the plants, the white plants on the soil were different. It was more balanced, and the quality of the wine changed also.
Yeah. Oh, you could taste the difference.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So, biodynamic's been around since Steiner in the 1920s. We've moved into, I guess it's more similar stuff, but now it's called regenerative. But it's the same kind of concept. There's no tillage to speak of. sometimes maybe the top inch or two or three can turn over, but cover crops or mulches that you protect the soil from the sun that can and keep that fermentation layer active in biology. I still can't figure out the moon cycle thing, but I know a lot of people still do that. But the moon cycle changes as time goes on, right? And so you're following whatever the moon cycle is now. Do you get into that as well, like planting days and harvest days and
Yes, yes, it's better. We have done some tests,
mhm,
and we have seen that the moons have a real influence.
right?
Of course, the climate is more powerful, but also the moon has an influence. And if, for example, even in the vegetable garden, I've made some tests. And if I plant some herbs, aromatic herbs, and so on, at different days, I've seen that they are growing better or not.
Hmm.
Yes, so yes.
Well, there's got to be something to it. How about the preparations then? I have a soil company and I make what I call amendments.
Mhm.
Some of them are similar to what they had, but Steiner came up with, I don't know if it was him who came up with the preparations. It was another guy that he worked with, and it slipped my mind. But they came up with basic amendments. Are you sticking to those or kind of modifying those yourself? I think there's like Amendment 500 and 501, for instance. So are you religious about that, or do you kind of make your own up?
No, I really follow Rudolf Steiner preparations.
Okay.
They are very powerful and very useful, and I really see the effect of this preparation, in particular of the Ankodan, and it was really great. So I just follow his preparation.
So when you're making them, and I always thought this was kind of crazy, but they use the horn.
Yeah.
But the horn actually is calcium, and it's breathable, so it works better than plastic in the soil.
And better than glass or
anything, because it's a breathable. It's a mineral that can be used, right?
With keratin and so on.
Right. So how do you do it? You dig pockets up throughout the property, or just in one place?
One place. Yes.
So you're doing it in one place, and that usually is a place that has a fair amount of water, like a bog almost.
Yes, and just in one place it's better because you have all the horn all together.
Mm-hmm.
So it's better than having 3 or 5 in one place and then 3 or 5 in another place.
Do you change that place every year or every few years, or do you stay with the same location you found?
The same location. Yes.
Okay. And how much materials? So talk to me about how you do that. So you're making it. How deep are you going down into the ground? And it changes, I guess, in any property.
I suppose it's about 60 centimeters.
Okay.
60, 70. Yeah.
Okay, so not too deep, a couple of feet or whatever. And how many different preparations are you making? He had preparations that were set to help with fungus or with bacteria, or even some preparations for teas, maybe to spray the plant. Are you using teas and extracts?
Yes, we to prevent disease we use some teas, and I only use some herbs that have wild in the meadows or that I grow in the garden to have the benefits of the plants, because they are more effective when they grow in the same lands and when they are fresh.
Okay.
So, for example, in the beginning of the spring, I use some nettles, some dandelion. I also use a lot of horsetail.
Okay.
To prevent mildew. And here our main enemy is mildew, because of the Bordeaux climate that is hot and wet. So we have to really be careful and fight against it. And some years the use of herbs is not enough, and we may lose a lot of the
So your garden is very integral to what you're doing, because you're creating you don't buy in any products then.
No.
Do you buy a little bit of minerals in, any I don't know, calcium or zeolite or anything like that, or
Yes, we can add some calcium here. It's from the oyster.
okay, oyster shells.
Yeah, the oyster shells that we buy
And
in a powder. But otherwise, to prevent disease, we use our herbs. It's better.
and when you're making this, you keep it in the ground. See, you're growing the vegetable in the spring, the same time as you're growing the vines, so you'd be using it the following year. So it's decomposing and it's fermenting for how long in the ground? Almost 6 months at least.
The preparation.
Yes.
The preparation, yes, it's 6 months in the soil.
Okay, so you start in the fall
Yeah.
with your material that you grew, and then by springtime, you're ready to apply it.
Yeah.
And how much are we talking about? The preparations, you got 8 hectares. That's a lot. That's, I don't know what that comes out to, 15 acres. That's a tremendous amount.
In
land.
fact, the on column is very concentrated, and you only need 100 grams per hectare
Okay.
Twice a year. And
you're mixing that then with water?
Yeah, with water.
So you're pumping it?
We melt it with water. It's a little bit like an homeopathic dilution in a dynamizer. So we don't need a lot. In fact, with the horn, we have about 100 grams. So it's not.
How do you apply it? With a water wagon or with? I mean, buckets by hand would take an awful long time.
At the first, I do it by hand, but when you have dynamized the preparation, we only have 1 hour to have a best effect of it. So by hand, it was too difficult because we have to run in the room, and it was crazy.
And it's supposed to be almost at night. You're supposed to be putting it down too, which is impractical with 8 hectares.
Yes, and so now I have a quad to be quicker enough.
Okay.
And in 1 hour I can do 4 hectares, so
wow.
2 times, and it's okay.
Yeah. And so you have a tank.
Yes, little tank that I put on the quad, and it's spray on the soil.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a little water wagon.
Yeah.
That works out. And when do you try to put it in before you know it's going to rain, so it'll soak in better? Is that the idea? Or?
You have to have a wet soil
to start with.
Yeah, to start with, because otherwise the microorganism it will be not as efficient.
Okay.
But it's better if it's not raining the next day, to let them time to go in the soil and develop in the soil before the rain.
And you're doing that then before bud break, early, right before the season, or do you do it both applications during the growth cycle?
For the spring, it would be in March. Okay. And I also look at the moon effect. When the moon is going down, it will be
waning.
Better. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you're putting that down, are you seeing with climate change now that the grapes are budding out earlier at all?
Yeah.
And then you have to harvest maybe even earlier too? Because you've got a very long growth season here compared to a lot of places where grapes are grown. But are you seeing that shorten at all at times?
Not really. It really depends then on the summer, because if in the summer it's too dry, the maturation phenomenon is blocked, and so we don't harvest earlier. And on many years, we have some drought in the summer, so the maturity is blocked, um, and we have to wait that it's raining a few days, just 1 or 2 days, but the
Makes a
vines,
big difference.
yeah, the
So you
vines
get
really
the
need water to have nice maturation of tannins,
and you're balancing the sugar with the phenolic systems, so that can be tricky too. Right?
yes, but in my way of practicing biodynamic way of growing, I don't cut branches in summer because it stresses the plant.
Right.
So I keep the end of the bud that regulates the sap. And so with this technique, we don't have too much sugar in the sap and in the grapes. So and this bud um, gives a good information to the plant to enforce the maturity of the tannins. So we
No.
have a nice balance, even if it's autumn and water.
But part of with global warming is heat, right? So I noticed that the grapes here are elevated on the vine more so than in Burgundy,
Yeah.
or even on the gravel side on the left bank, because you get that heat effect, right? So so you've elevated a little. What do you do with the canopy itself? You're not pruning it. Part of heat management sometimes is thinning out that vine, but you're trying to keep the vine intact, which helps with sunburn, I guess, too, right? But that's helping you with the sugars. But are you thinning it at all early in the season or later or anything, or you just?
We have to trim around the tire and to have a good aeration.
Right.
So,
and you do that.
Yes, and so we pass many times in the summer to trim the branches and to remove some leaves if we need more wind between the grapes. And so
Okay.
Yeah.
So from a yield standpoint, well, let's talk about have you noticed, I guess, you've got two different things going on. You have the use of biodynamics, which has helped. It takes several years to get it dialed in, but then it helps a lot. But you also have the variability of climate change. Climate change sometimes is a heat spike, sometimes it's way too much water at the wrong time, sometimes it's a drought. So you've got this constant change that's unpredictable.
Yes.
And so how do you manage that? What are your levers that you pull to play with that?
With herbicide, we can help the plants, the vines, to fight against these extreme climate changes. And also the use of biodynamic preparation help the plant to resist more from the drought. For example, if we have a soil that is better with more microorganisms and more organic matter, the water can be stored in the soil for the plants. Then, in fact, organic matter can stock 10 times more the water than the clay. So it's very useful than when we...
Do you do lab testing so you know what the organic matter was 16 years ago before you started and what it is now? Have you built up organic matter?
We don't do this very often, so we don't follow it in every year. We have seen, yes, an improvement of the organic matter.
You almost can feel it more than you need to test it.
Yes, you can see it even.
Right,
if you go in the vineyard, you can see it. Yeah.
And are you trying some of these preparations? I haven't read the entire book of preparations, but you're trying to get that, turn it more fungal rather than, or do you just try to get a diversity of microbes? So whatever's growing, whatever crop exudate comes, feeds the correct microbes? Is that how you're doing it?
Yes, I think it's better to have a great diversity.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Even because we don't know what next it will be in the climate. So if we have a great variety,
Mm-hmm.
we always have the one that will be the best on this year or on this year. And I think that the natural balance will be the best. Also in the vineyard, I prefer to have a large wide diversity of natural plants.
Yes. So what plants are you growing in there? You have some legume,
We mainly have some clover
clover.
because it can take the nitrogen from the air and stock it in the roots. So
Uh-huh.
but I really like to have a great variety, and in particular, I try to favor the white flowers
Mm-hmm.
to produce some nectars and pollen for the insects. So it will be great.
Do you have bees? Do you have honey?
Yeah, yes, we have some bees here, and previously I have my own bees, but I have problems with Asiatic frelon. What's the English word? An Asiatic predator, and now I haven't anymore, but there are still some white bees here.
So you got to get a new queen bee and start all over again.
Mm.
How about I noticed that this part of Bordeaux is very natural. I notice a lot more natural habitat. I think you were telling me that you have 20 total hectares, but only 8 under production.
Yeah.
Is that right? So, how do you feel that? Because you could be greedy and take a couple of hectares down and put more grapes in, but how do you see that balance? That's kind of a big thing in regenerative farming, is to leave natural areas alone, um, because it helps with the microbes and the resistance. And do you see that?
Yes, for me it's very important to have some white part in the area, and that was my choice to preserve this area, because it's important for the natural balance, and to have also some insects and that
Mm-hmm.
may help us in the vineyard, in fact, because there are natural predators for insects that may attack the vines. We also have a lot of bats that helps us to fight against insects that can destroy the grapes and so on. And this natural aspect is very important to have a natural balance, and it would be better, I think, if all the
If
states
everyone
are
did.
like that.
So, I've read so much about bats are in trouble, bees are in trouble worldwide through too much chemical in the air, and we're seeing a declining population. Here, it's this whole area of Bordeaux is probably more organic, would you say, or there's still a lot of people putting chemicals down?
Yes, in the past year, we have an improvement of the organic areas, but with economic difficulties, it's quite difficult to maintain it.
Right. So I guess there's always labor, right? So it might be early on when you're transitioning, it's costs more money. But once the nature starts kind of working for you, um, it controls it. Are you using any animals, for instance, to um, keep the weeds down, or any of your cover crop down? Do you use any sheep or goats or anything like that? Have you started using that?
I would like to have sheep, yes, but I haven't for the month. because it's not very easy, in fact, for them.
Right.
So we don't have for the moment, but it's in my plan.
Okay.
But in fact, biodynamic way of growing costs more than chemicals way of growing.
Right.
Because you need a lot more labor, and labor is what it costs
Right.
the most in France. So.
And the labor, where would you say the labor is? We talk about the growing season, right? Mm-hmm. So to begin, you have to prune everything.
Yeah.
That's the same no matter what, biodynamic or not. The fertilization, you're using your own products, so you're not spending money out, and you're putting it down pretty quickly. 4 hectares in an hour is nothing. You have 8 hectares, so that's not too much labor. But now, where does the labor come in? During the picking season, you still have to get pickers, right? There's less and less people who know how to pick grapes.
But during the growing season, you have to fight against herbs, because too much herb will cause damage, will favorize disease,
and you're not spraying.
And when you spray with herb killer, it's very quick. Right. And it's just 1 or 2 times during the season.
The problem is it kills your microbes.
Oh yes, of course. It's a big problem for the soil, but it's very effective and very quick, mm-hmm. and don't cost so much.
So that's really where this expenditure is.
And whereas here now we have to go every week to contain the herbs, so right. We cut it. And then in the summer I explain you that I don't cut branches, so I have to trim the branches, mm-hmm. and we have to pass many times, so I need help of workers for this. Mm-hmm. Otherwise the other wine growers just cut with 1 or 2 times, and it's very quick with the tractor.
Right.
We have yields where the crops are less.
A little bit less. Do you have to thin out the grape clusters, or does that just happen kind of naturally?
Yes, it's naturally, and because we don't use some chemicals fertilizer.
Uh-huh.
So yes, the crops.
And then the size of the grape maybe is a little bit different too, or is it?
Yes, the grapes are a little bit smaller.
Mm-hmm. So the skin maybe a little thicker.
Yes, exactly.
So, but that makes for a better wine.
Of course, the wine is better. And they are more tasty. Yes, okay. Yes.
What do you see as the future? Do you work with, because if your 8 acres or 8 hectares is here, and your neighbors are all spraying chemicals, that makes it difficult for you, right? I mean, it'll kill the bees, it'll kill the bats, so what do you see? This fits, I think, better for a small producer. 8 hectares is not that small. I was in Burgundy and looking at Romani Conte is only 1.7 hectares. And they get pretty good money for the bottle of wine, right? So 8 hectares is good size. You still have to bring labor in no matter what for something that size. But what do you see with neighbors? Do neighbors want to adopt your system, or do you see people who are just set in their ways and they don't want to change?
We have both. I have some neighbors that are organic, so it's okay, it's perfect. Mm-hmm. I also have another neighbor that is with chemicals, and he produces very chemical way, industrials, with low cost and cheap wine. Uh-huh. But I have all my vineyard around the house, and it's protected with the white part of the the forest and the.
So that's why having that natural buffer area makes a huge difference for you.
Yeah.
And it acts as a water sink too, doesn't it? Because the soil in those areas is a little more spongy.
Yeah.
It can handle more water, so that probably helps. Well, what do you see as kind of your future with what you're doing here? You're just trying to preserve the tradition and the terroir and the flavor, or what do you see coming up for you?
Yes, I try to preserve the good quality of the wines that we have, even if the climate change. I'm going to buy some lands to plant some more forest because it's very important with climate change.
That just adds cost, though.
Yeah.
You can't sell wine out of forest.
No. It's just for the biodiversity. Because I'm really engaged in this, and I think it's very, very important to make effort for this. Right. In fact, I think that just with changing the way of making the wine in the cellar, you can have some different taste of wines, and you can produce more fruity wines, some more well-balanced wines, some stronger wines.
Just gives you more variety.
Yes.
Right. So, well, that's good. Well, I appreciate you having me here today. I thank you so much. Thank you for joining the Harvesting Wisdom podcast. Click subscribe and like for ongoing insightful conversations. Explore our webpage for show notes and additional resources. Visit our guests' webpage for deeper insights. Your engagement is the foundation of our journey, and until next time, keep pursuing wisdom.